Back another one. Yo, Joe Budden addressed basically Rocky Thunder, Danny from the Stop, while on Slick Spaces. Slick asked him some very great questions. So let's basically hear what Joe had to say and then give our raw reaction to all of this because honestly, we got to get some truth behind this. And somebody got to defend Joe.
Of it. I want to take my emotions out of it because I recognize Danny's space to be full of a lot of people who just want to clickbait, clout chase, and just presume, whether right or wrong. We just want to throw theories in the air because we're trying to make money that way. I don't get that from Micah's space or the JBTV space. So those are two different spaces with two different functionalities. So how that one functions, yeah, they would have anybody over there with any lie, any story, just anything, and they would welcome them and make them feel a safe space because that's where tea is. That's where gossipy bullshit is. But in terms of getting to the truth and what's right or what's wrong, I don't think that's important over there.
I think it is allowed in a different way. Is that instead of because and the perception would be is that you can go to JBTV spaces, say whatever you want, and that's considered as the gospel, as opposed to on the Danny side is they're open to hearing more point of views. Now, vocally, are they quick to get on some shit that's definitely bashing you and against you? More likely yes than no, but they're at least open to hearing more as opposed to Rocky wouldn't be afforded the opportunity to go up there, regardless of whatever the topic is. She wouldn't be afforded the luxury of being able to go onto the JBTV space to even give her point of view or side, regardless of how it's received.
I feel like everybody, for the most part, is my son over there. Uh, One, because I am the common denominator. Y'all not even having these people around if there's not a Joe story in effect. So that's one. And two, I can't really respect it from over there because as much as y'all bash, none of y'all will stop watching because y'all just trying to make money. So it's not about that. It's not about content and what's going on with the content. Them niggas just trying to make a dollar. So that's how I
That's
look at
true
it.
for some. That is absolutely true for some. But what we were speaking to earlier is that the Danny from the Stop side, the We Work side, definitely represents a section of your fan base, your viewership, and it may just
That's
be
not true
the
though. That's not true though. And I want to stop that myth. That's not true. What y'all doing over there is like I don't want to say y'all.
theatrical.
People might take that offensive, but
No,
what they do over there is not a reflection of any percentage of the fan base. This fan base is way too big. What's going over there is way too small time for it to have that correlation. I know that over there they feel like that, but that's just representative of what they think there. This is a fan base of
But
millions and millions and millions.
we don't think they
Nobody in
started out
spaces
that
is
way
going to
though.
make up a percentage of the fan base. There's
But
not
Joe,
enough people in spaces.
I have a question for you then, Joe. So if that's the case, then why have you ever found yourself over there if they are so small and so irrelevant?
Doesn't
Janae,
Like
everyone feed off the tea?
Janae,
that's
I'm not going
mhm,
places because there's so many numbers and
mhm.
impact. I go wherever the fuck I want to go since 2001.
Right, but I'm just saying if they're you don't think that that's feeding narratives that you feel like you don't want to continue to be spread. I'm just talking about how you just explained it, right? If they're framing things that are untrue, they're running with the tea, they're saying
But
stuff,
wait,
and some of the
but
stuff can
Janae,
be
I just want not
detrimental.
to cut you off, but I never
That's
said
okay.
that I don't want them spreading anything that they're spreading. They could do
Okay.
whatever they want,
Okay, I got you.
and they do it, and I adjust.
Okay.
I ain't
Oh,
told nobody to stop anything. I unfollowed Danny because it was looking too goofy on my timeline, and he looked like he had an agenda, and I just didn't want to see that. But that was the end. I'm not trying to get anybody to fucking customize they shit. Do what y'all want.
I thought you said ain't no in between, ain't no neutral.
It's not a neutral, but do what you want.
but that's also one of the things that Danny felt is by you going over there, he felt like you were trying to control the narrative, control his stage, and
That's his
control what was being
paranoia,
said.
and his paranoia is not important for me enough to try to explain him through it. Think what you want and run your business the way that you want. I am not trying to alter anything about that.
and you were over there just shooting the shit. That's what you go over there for, is to hang out, be part of the community, the same way that you go to the JBTV communities. Wrong, right?
I mean, yes, it's right. What else would I be over there for?
I'm just asking the question
There's
because
nothing
I've
for
been
me to
saying it.
gain. Be clear that I'm aware there's nothing for me to gain in these spaces. I'm not here trying to make friends. There's all there is for me is loss and virality that I'm not looking for over here. It's either a vibe or it's not a vibe. When it's time for me to check out, I check out. I'm not forcing nobody to do nothing. But again, because of how they function over there, just tossing that in the air is good for business. Everything over there is good for business, whether it's Bush League, whether it's true, whether it's false. Run your shit how you run it. I don't think you get that far like that, but we'll see. I'm willing to play it out. I've been around long enough where I've seen these groups. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen these groups form, come, go, hate, kick your back in for a few years, neglect real life, don't get a job. They eventually disappear. They don't stick around very long. So
So
But
isn't
do
it
we
figure your
think
own
all
it
good
business
for the
out.
started out?
ecosystem though,
Do
Joe?
we think it started out that way though? My thing is because it seemed like as of late it turned into that. I don't know if it was that to start out. Was it? It seemed like they
Might
were.
have been after that beta male space.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
no. I think
My
there's always been a concerted effort, however y'all feel like it, to make either like disparaging comments about Joe or talk about like the downfalls parts of the pod. That's been a kind of the content of Danny's videos for some part, even from the beginning. Not saying that that's all Danny does. Not saying that that's all what that side does. X, Y, Z, whatever.
That
But
is all of that side does, and you would
oh
be
shit.
hard pressed to find like videos of positivity or neutrality over there. And for
I just
me,
I
to
just
do
didn't.
that, you cut your nose to spite your face. Because if you're trying to build a business in the content space, like one of the people to pay attention to would be me. Not in this small change way that y'all look at it. Like that's some fucking bum at the Port Authority shit to me. But if that's what helps you, then rock out.
I mean, don't you feel like we're in a space of content creation where the bullshit is kind of what is going to, propel you further?
If
Or
that's how you choose to make your content. Everybody has choices to make with their content.
that's fair.
For 2 seconds, I
Has your
cared enough
content
about
always
it
been
to try
positive?
to mediate this, right? Like for 2 seconds,
Good
I
question,
tried to
Sonny.
go over there and actually talk some sense into the matter and try to remove the emotionalism and see if we can get to like direct conversation. But at some
Grandpa.
point, it became clear that it's men's business. And listen, I already got labeled a misandrist, so I ain't gonna say what I think about men and emotions. I'm gonna just say this: I I think that I don't know, Joe. The only reason why I say it's a little contrary because you used to go over there and they didn't change the content. I think what happened was after you called them betas, they got very vitriolic. I personally, as a woman, I will never
I
understand what it
want to
means
cut
to
you
call a
off.
man a
I
beta.
want to
Go
cut you
ahead.
off. I want to cut you off. That's cap. That's not true. The conversations that went on over there versus platforming somebody who tells blatant, personal, disruptive lies that could be harmful are two different ball games.
I agree with that. I'm talking about the content they're
But
creating.
that's
I'm
the
talking about
content.
people on YouTube. So yeah,
But that's
it
the content.
changed.
Are
You're
you
right.
looking to
You're
them to
right.
like
In that way, it did
protect
change.
you?
If that's what you're
No. Oh my
referencing, it
God.
changed. I'm talking
Never
about
mind.
the
Never mind. Never
videos.
mind. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Call it what y'all want. I'm not really here to debate it. Uh, I know what I think is going on over there versus what used to go on over there. I'm not trying to coerce nobody.
But I think any rational person can clearly see it ratcheted up. It was a ratcheted up when they started to platform her. Like the first time they probably had, because I was there and I know kind of how it went. It wasn't. I don't think it was as intentional as it has been. Like since then, they're purposely putting this person and these people in these spaces
It
to
was
platform them.
intentional from the first time Jameson called her from the audience to come up there. And then Dub continued it, and then whoever continued it, it was intentional. Like we can call a spade, but that's okay. That's back to how I view the functionality over there. If anybody pop up with some bullshit story, y'all are just platform them, and it's not really about getting to the truth or not. It's about the salacious tea because that's how y'all are making money. Cool, but then let's recognize that, or at least I will.
Spaces where we're allowing that person to be, he's just choosing not to be there. So we can think or feel or have whatever perception of the situation that we want, but because he knows and he feels a certain way, he's going to move accordingly.
No,
He's
and
not.
it's not just, you're right about that, Slick, but not just me feeling a way. I also, part of communication is knowing how the other person feels. I also know none of y'all, well, that we talking about, give enough of a about me to put your own agenda to the side and stop somebody from harassing me. Like, we not friends. I don't have friendship expectations from any of y'all.
And this is the second time that I've heard this sentiment from Joe. And I've watched us all pick and choose which side we want to be on and what we want to believe. Because while Joe says that this is the situation that he's experiencing, that he's having, we then, and I'm saying we, including myself and all of us, some are part of it, some aren't, but we then choose to believe what he says or make up, or, find our own reason, not make up, but believe what we want to. Because he did say the exact same thing about Shorty, who was doing the podcast with her friend, and said that Joe said something about her. He said that he may have been a victim in that case because of how she was acting. And from that, we can take Joe was just capping, he's putting on, he's trying to run a narrative or flip things so that he doesn't look like the bad guy. Or we think, believe women, she said it, so we've got to believe what she said. Or we believe, there's two
Or
sides
we
to the
could just
story,
stay the
we don't
fuck
know the
out of
truth.
it.
Well,
Or
Slick,
we
this
could,
is the wait.
but we aren't. We
Or
Hold on,
we
could
Slick.
stay
stay
the
the
fuck
fuck
out of
out
it.
of it because it ain't our business. It's not our duty to protect none of these niggas. We on the internet. People should be able to say whatever they want to say. And if you don't want to allow it, get out of there. If it's cool, leave them in. Like, I don't understand all this fine print. We don't
Yeah,
know
but
these niggas.
We
yeah, but
could,
can
but
we
we
be
don't.
honest though? Like, yeah, Slick, can we be honest? Like, I'm not saying Joe hasn't said this before, but this is the first time I'm hearing Joe saying that he feels like this person's harassing him. And to be honest, people don't care if men say that a woman is harassing them on the internet. They don't give a fuck. That shit don't sound cool. If you say that shit on the internet, they're like, "All right, girl, she's just a woman. She ain't gonna do shit to you." Like, come on. So
Yeah, but we're talking about Joe
It's
here.
not cool, but everybody
Joe,
can't
but
be harassing you.
Joe's not going on a public platform saying I feel uncomfortable. This person's harassing, especially if it's a woman, because it sounds soft from a man to say that shit.
But
I think the only
that's
time I heard Joe say that
understanding,
shit
and
was
that's
because of
great.
what
But
the
we're not talking about the bigger picture. We're talking about a situation that we're all currently existing and going through right now. So, though you are correct that that is a bigger picture in the grand scheme of things, but we're talking about things that
yeah
we've actually currently done and that we're going through now.
yeah. But you're talking about the Rocky situation. I never heard Joe say this person is making me feel uncomfortable. She's harassing me. I never heard it.
He
I'm not saying
hasn't,
he
but
But
hasn't
he
said
doesn't
that.
have to.
I'm not saying he hasn't
can,
said it,
hold
but
on a
I
But he
just
doesn't
second.
have
But
to
hold
say
on a
that.
second, Chris. Can I ask you a question though? I want to ask you directly.
go
Are
ahead.
you aware of any of the behind before the Imani in her space? Did you know any of her allegations towards Joe?
Nah, not this is
You
the first time.
specifically.
No, this year is the first time I ever heard of Rocky
Okay.
Thunder.
So I think that that might be where the disconnect is happening because there are some people, not everybody in the room, there are some people in the room that if they didn't know personally, because like Joe said, we don't know him, but at least through internet, through blogs, through whatever, there was already the murmurings from either her page or through whatever that there was some level of an issue between her and Joe where allegations or certain things about Joe's family and people in his family that he's connected to that she also was speaking about. Whether that's true or not, that's not for us to gauge. But I don't think that we need Joe to put it all out there for us to be able to make our own choices. To me, this is a personal integrity conversation. Like I said earlier, is there's just certain things some people are willing to touch. And if you're willing to touch that, you got to take what comes with it. And the reality is sometimes, to maybe your point, Chris, maybe some people don't know fully and they're thinking, oh, this is just another conversation, and it's bigger than just a conversation. Danny, I don't even know how much you know, but I would expect because you covered Joe, you did know all of these things, but then there was an opportunity to have a conversation and you maybe opened up a space for her to speak, and maybe that's where the gray areas come in, because I would never, you get what I'm saying, especially if I know as much as I knew before.
I mean, I did know,
Yeah.
but
Oh, go
I
ahead.
mean, Joe's saying that the line was crossed before, but I just at what point is it like wrong for us to not allow Rocky to be like, let's say Rocky's in JBTV spaces and y'all talking about OnlyFans teachers, right? Like, and she raises her hand, or you could be like, nah, pre-existing issues with Joe, we can't have you up here. It becomes kind of a dicey double-edged sword, is what I'm saying. But BX, go ahead.
Only if it
And
becomes a
Jonay,
dicey
wait,
double-edged sword.
Slick, real quick.
Go ahead.
Jonay, to your
Yep.
point, like,
Hey, Chris.
yes, he could have this issue with her in the past, but the first
Yeah.
time I seen this situation happen was on Dove's face, and he's the one that came
Mm.
on stage to confront her
Mhm.
and had Imani, like, he didn't tell Imani to do it, but Imani came on his behalf to shit on her. So from my point of view, it seemed like, oh, it wasn't really that deep. I know that this was a big issue from the past, but I'm just saying
Right.
I didn't think if he was on stage with her, it wouldn't be this confrontational with her on a
Mhm.
public space.
Mhm. Right.
Joe has a lot of issues with a lot of people. It's the same with like someone like,
No, I don't.
are you what?
No, I don't.
Well, I
And
think
please stop speaking for me. No, I do not.
that's not true. I didn't say like issues to the extent of Rocky, but like issues to the extent of like there's this perception that you are at odds with certain people, whether it be Rory or Tax. And anytime I do a space with one of those people, it's like, oh, you're platforming your ops, and it's like, all right, come on, man. Like it is what it is. Just like if you interview a blogger.
But you are because you make money off of your videos. So technically
But
you are.
real quick, I think the greater question is I don't think it's that you're platforming his ops because obviously you've had Rory and Maul several times on there. You've had Rocky up for a little bit before he, unfollowed you. I'm wondering if it's what is said and what isn't said because I don't think Joe can hold you responsible for somebody coming up there and lying and you're only able to push back so much. But there has to be something that's like, all right, this is too much. This is what the issue is. And as if Joe's willing to actually say, this is what it is and this is where the line is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I feel like I've moved with integrity. Given anybody in my position, probably would have done things different if they was really going that clickbait route. But Micah had his hand up. Feats had her hand up. I don't know.
Not you controlling the stage.
Wait a
That's
second. Wait,
good.
Danny. Not you told me and Jonay to do our job. What?
Hey.
Wait.
I'm a space star, man.
Oh
But
my
you're not a
God.
space
Please.
god.
You're
Oh
not
my
a
God.
space god, nigga.
Not too much.
Hey.
Yeah, what's a king to a god?
Oh God. Go ahead. Go ahead, feet.
What I was gonna say, the time has passed for. I ain't even gonna go there. But
All
this was
right.
some bullshit.
Did Micah have his hand up now?
Go ahead,
I
Micah.
don't know if I had my hand up,
Bring your
Okay.
man.
cape.
That was a
Well,
long
then
time
never
ago.
mind. On to the next one.
What
Nah,
type
go
of
ahead.
cake?
Bring your
Hold on,
cape,
hold on.
Micah. Go ahead.
What you talking about? What type of cake? Joe already spoke for
Why
it,
we got
man.
an
Y'all
echo?
niggas was
What's
hating.
happening?
Micah,
My,
record me.
Jonay, you want to know why he got an echo? Because he on spaces with
Danny,
Mushy
I thought you
too.
said you was gonna stop doing that.
You on two
Do
spaces,
what?
Micah?
Yes, he is.
Do what?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
You know I
I
have
was
to
just
God.
fucking
support
with you.
Mushy too.
I don't know what
Mushy
else.
still started his space?
Is it still got an echo? I ain't got no echo no
It's
more.
just
No,
mushy
not
over there right
anymore.
now.
Tell
Pretty
Mushy to pull up
great.
over
Y'all just
here
be saying
until
it.
we're done, and then we'll all go over to his shit.
Nah, y'all keep pushing that nigga spaces back. I feel him. Stand on
Go
business. You
ahead,
gotta have the
Michael.
show.
Say
You
what you
gotta
gonna
have
You
the
say,
better
show.
go.
child.
You better go support your twin. Go
Mushy
ahead.
got you
Jo-
wiped down.
Oh yeah, I'm the co-host over there. We good. We
That's
Joe,
good.
what
crazy.
is the
Say what you
line?
gotta say.
If you're comfortable with actually saying it, because I know the way you move, I feel like you don't feel like you should have to tell us. But what was it? What is the line?
Slick, you are not Oprah Winfrey, nigga.
Oh,
We
I'm
Yes,
trying. I'm
he
we
is
gonna
Gail.
though.
tell you, no,
Nah, he
nigga.
trying to audition for After
He want.
Hours. Question they sent me anonymously.
Wait, not
But
to the
they, you
voice
know, I
of the
know they.
people. Did they ask?
Micah,
Oh
here
my
you
God.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
Brother.
Danny,
No
do you
AO
think
Joe.
things changed for you when you? No, this is for Danny. Nigga, relax.
Oh shit.
When you platform, well, not platform, but when you brought Rory and Maul on that day, do you feel like shit changed for you then,
Oh
or
nah,
what did you feel about that?
The Rory Mall thing came like I think a couple days after the picture, and I was like, I kind of put Joe in a corny box. I'm not gonna lie. After that, I was like, that was when
Okay,
that
okay.
was when I was like, all right, okay. but I wasn't. That wasn't like I still think I moved with integrity. I don't want people to
All
run on.
right, I gotta ask because I feel like I think after that day I never really fully understood this, Danny. What was it about that picture that what you felt was crossing the line? Was that not a picture no one had ever seen before, or was it because he made his profile?
Well, a few people hit me up too in my real life about that. Like those people who text me, like, "Daddy, what's going on?" But nah. Well, first it was that was a space of people just hating, like kicking my back in for a little bit with Broco and a couple of others. I forgot the other folks, parties. And then I know that people had been DMing me that picture for a couple years, well, like about a year. Like, we know who you are, Danny. All of the people from the Reddit folks that seem to stalk me. So when Joe made that his picture, I was like, all right, cornball box. And that was kind of the issue. And then in consecutive days later, when he would say, "Oh, by no means was this a way to clown Danny," that just seemed like super cornball because I was like, okay, that whole space was people clowning me. You could go back and listen to it. It's on YouTube. And yeah, so that was the thing. And it was definitely kick Danny's back in. So, and I still don't think that I retaliated in any way. I just kind of put Joe in the box after that.
Okay, so did anything actually happen? I know that just probably rubbed you the wrong way, but did anything happen to you, like personally? I'm just curious.
Like personally,
Like, did anyone, try to do something crazy because now they know or weren't aware of, a personal picture and now they were aware from that one scenario?
I mean, of course, there's gonna be people who all of a sudden make fun of that picture, talk about that picture. That picture, people made that picture their profile because Joe made it their profile. Yeah, there was a different type because it's different if other people. Let me see if other people use it. Joe's a bigger person. Like Joe's obviously more like people know that it was YouTubers making videos about it, YouTubers making posts about it. So after that, I was like, all right, but we got people. Go
And
ahead,
be
Mike.
and beyond the mental health aspect, do you feel like your safety was compromised or
I mean, I don't think not by that picture. I mean, there's other people on the show who have been alluding to where I live,
Wait,
but
so
that's another.
Mike, are you saying I just wanted to get your thoughts. Are you saying doxing is okay as long as no physical harm comes to the person? Are you that's what you're trying to say?
is that what you got
Yeah, that's
from the
what I got.
question? I just was giving
I
a
mean,
follow-up question to
Michael
ask.
was there that day. He was the one kind of egging it on, like, let's see the pic, Danny. Like he was one of those.
I was one of the ones. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and that was when
I'm
like
very
that was
present.
when like it was real static, like Twitter static, not but like everybody was kind of at odds, and
That's when
um,
you came at everybody but Joe.
and that's not true. That's not true because that's never been what I did.
You was
I
mad that people quote unquote laughed at the picture and was quote unquote making fun of you. You even said things that other men had said that and put it on the women that were in that space. You also did that.
I mean, no,
Um,
but
but
you was
yeah.
running out 2 feet. You was calling me a bitch. You was doing all types of shit.
That was after again you was accusing us of things that we didn't do or say. We even had to provide the playback and the clips on one of your spaces.
That
But
timeline is not true.
continue.
You called me a bitch before that.
But
Well, I
I
mean,
think
you are
this
what you are.
with this situation, and this is one thing
Look
that
at
Yeah,
that.
we're
I've
gonna
Wait,
keep it
seen
wait, wait,
from
respectful,
the
wait,
y'all. Come
outside.
on now.
wait. Look at that. Look what she just said. You are
Let's
what
keep it
you are.
respectful. We're gonna keep it respectful.
But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
we have to examine that type of impact that type of language has on the community because that's exactly what I'm saying. But
Well,
I'll
that, I was speaking to it earlier because this is one of the things that I've seen. I may be wrong, but my understanding of when some of the issues and things that I've seen with Danny and other individuals just within the community is based off of their actions with one other individual, or depending on how Joe treats them, the community will go and will follow. And that puts him and others kind of in a corner to where they have to fight and defend themselves. And a lot of people end up getting attacked just by proxy.
And there we have it. Yo, honestly, my raw reaction from this is that Danny from the Stop honestly needs to kind of, I would say, it needs to be a better way to say grow some, right? In terms of just be more of a man. There's a lot of things that's lacking in terms of this, like, this perception or this way that they can't take criticism, critique, funny jokes, any of that. They can't take it. You're in the media world and you can't allow someone to just poke fun at something that's already been out there, a picture of you that's been out on Reddit and all of these other sources of social platforms. And yeah, people will quote unquote kicking your back in, but you're making it as if it wasn't warranted, and you're not someone who over critiques a podcast, not just critique a podcast. You legitimately are. Flip moves his finger. Joe Budden has a new mole on his chin. Like it's that type of. It's not a critique on opinions. I feel like on my channel, when we cover the topics that they talk about on the Joe Budden podcast, we'll talk about the opinions that they talked about. We'll expand on it. We'll put more knowledge behind it, or we'll push it forward and then bring our own narratives about different situations. He's legitimately dissecting the people. So it's a different level of understanding that I had to be accustomed to, the fact that I didn't know this was a thing, and I didn't know that this was even a thing that people actually are, like, people like. You know what I'm saying? But it is, I guess. You know what I'm saying? When you have viewership, you have fan base, you have all of this stuff. So this is the person that attached himself to Joe Budden, or Joe Budden allowed himself to get close to. But the reason why Joe Budden cut all ties with him is because he allowed himself to allow someone who's sitting there bashing this dude in all day, in terms of just making the craziest, and I mean the craziest statements about abuse and stuff like that. And it's not even if it was right or wrong or if it's real or not. It's the fact of the timing. The timing is that it's a post-Cassie video of a very horrible situation that we've seen. And then you come out and now you're talking about the situation with Joe and all of this other stuff, right? But on top of that, after Danny from the Stop alludes to not knowing who she was, technically he does, because the whole time he knew who she was. Because if you studied the hell out of this dude and you cover his podcast every single day, you know anybody that talks about him, any new YouTuber that pops up his name, you know. So how do you not know no Rocky Thunder, bro? You're just a liar, bro. And that's the thing that I have a problem with, because they play like this, oh, I'm a victim, and oh, I don't curse, and I can't, everybody's mean to me. They play that role, and I see right through all of that stuff, man. That's just like a ploy to just make people feel bad, or victim shame, whatever, or victim blame, or victim protect. I don't know, whatever. It's a word for it that he does, and he uses these tactics a lot on these spaces. And I'm just sitting there like, man, I just know that they allow him to get it off because I feel like people feel bad for him. I feel like a lot of people, when they press the issue on him, he's extremely passive aggressive, so he can't take anything that has to be anything constructive criticism. Yet he constructively criticizes a whole podcast full of people who's just doing their 9 to 5. Imagine you being criticized for your 9 to 5, and imagine you didn't talk about this portion of the podcast right now. They're telling you that you're underperformed, and now they're attacking ICE and all this stuff like that because they dislike ICE. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. So when it comes to Joe Budden, Joe Budden hurt your feelings with a picture. So what you do, you go and the platform word is something that agitates him. You're upset at Joe Budden, so you went and platformed Rocky Thunder, knowing after the situation, okay, Rocky Thunder goes off on Imani, boom, that situation's over. But you continuously allow her to come back on your platform. You're talking about, I don't want nobody thinking that, you can't come on my spaces and have a conversation. Bro, get out of here, bro. That's another narcissistic tactic, passive-aggressive tactic that a lot of people use and stuff like that when they're mad at someone, but they can't stand up on the fact that they're upset at someone. You're the one that upset, and you've been upset since December about the situation, about a picture. So you're allowing this lady to be out here putting allegations that can get someone into prison and destroy the whole entire Joe Budden podcast brand itself. That's why Joe Budden unfollow you, idiot. A lot of people don't understand when it comes to business and how business works. The reason why Joe doesn't like him is because, bro, if you want to grow your business, grow your business. Nobody's controlling on how you do it, right? But when now you're allowing my business to be in jeopardy by allowing different characters to come on your platform, and I already was around you, to just sit there and bash my character, that is almost to the point where it can get someone locked up. Posting your picture ain't gonna get you locked up. You might get a little, jokes here and there. Somebody's gonna make fun of you, blah, blah, blah. But how are you on the internet, on Twitter, out of all places, Twitter? Twitter is the most, like, come on. and then hide yourself from the world. You cannot not do that. Like, that's just almost asinine. And to not allow someone who you critique a lot to poke fun at you, that's just not, like, it's just, to me, it's punk behavior. And that's why he was very hurt off of that picture situation. And that's why I feel like he took it to the level of every time someone that disliked Joe got on his thing, he would try to bring them up and bring them up over and over again. And then try to play this fake role that he's trying to push back, but he's really not. He just wants to get more content to talk about. Like, it's just stuff to talk about. He's obsessed with the guy. And I mean, absolutely obsessed with the podcast, to a point where y'all think it's like, it's someone dissecting stuff, and to a point it might be that someone dissecting stuff, but I see it as someone that's trying to infiltrate someone's business and destroy it because their feelings are hurt. Before, it might have just been them doing their regular whatever, because I still don't know. I don't watch them, so I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just support people who support me, you know what I'm saying? And I keep stuff objective. But I've seen stuff here and there, and the way they talk about the Budden podcast is just not something that I'm interested in. That's what I mean by, I'm saying I don't watch them. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm just saying I'm not interested in hearing about Joe Budden's mole on his left cheek, or how Queen's Flip moved his finger the wrong way, or how Melissa Ford felt uncomfortable at this 2:55-minute mark. Like, I'm not interested in all that, bro. I care about what they're talking about. If Joe Budden brings up some crazy story about, or maybe some interesting points on how he feel about the rap game or the hip hop game, or how he feels like the way music is going, I'll break that down and break that down even more, and then do some research on why did he say this. Like, that's what we really need to do when it comes to the Budden podcast and people who review and react and make videos off of it. It should be expounding off of their opinions and the stuff that they're talking about, and then bring off the narrative to make it a longer narrative. Like, let's have a more of educated conversation about the topics that are brought up. That's what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? Not into all of this other stuff. So for me, the reason why I did this video is to honestly just to get my emotions off and my reactions off, because I'm honestly sick of this character. Because I just feel like they're trying to destroy something that I enjoy watching, which is the Budden podcast. And I feel like they're trying to, because they feel like their feelings is hurt, they're trying to get anybody to trash them, right? And just because you're not talking about the person verbatim, like saying it like, oh, we're talking about Joe Budden, no, every topic is, no, it's literally, dude, this guy was the first person that sat there and was like, all right, you're making content about me, cool, I'm gonna have a conversation with you. Boom, we have a mutual friendship, mutual relationship, it don't matter, whatever it is, we was mutual acquaintances on Spaces or whatever. He allowed himself to even interact with someone like you. And that's where I'm like, I gave Joe props for that. I'm like, all right, Joe hanging out with this guy. I have to, as a fan of Joe, sit there and listen to the guy that he's cool with now. You know what I'm saying? So now that he's not cool with him, now I don't have to listen to that dude no more. And that's where I like the fact that Joe is pushing himself away. And that's the best thing you can possibly do. Move yourself far away from those characters, because those characters just want to see you fall because you're number one and they have nothing else to do or nothing else to talk about. And there's a lot of jealousy and envy. You know what I'm saying? People wish they were at that spot. And people are going to say a whole bunch of things about what I'm saying. And I honestly do not care, because I'm honestly tired, bro. And I've been doing these videos, you know what I'm saying? I've been recording these spaces here and there, dropping them here and there, because I wanted to push the Budden, like, because I like the podcast. I like the way he talks off of the podcast to his fans and stuff like that. And I feel like for the people who don't have Twitter, or people who don't have the opportunity to see Joe Budden in a more candid way, or like, just him as a regular human being, you get to see him interact with people or hear him interact with people in a regular way. You know what I'm saying? It's enjoyable content, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to just now, you're destroying all of that stuff that he gave to the fan base for your hate for him is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And your silent hate, because you're going to tell him you don't hate him and all of this other stuff, or, oh, but you won't call him a cornball. But I think you're worse than a cornball, my friend. And And I'm trying to do this as nice as possible, but the niceness has left, because now I'm actually bothered by the fact that we allowed someone like this to have that much of a impact. You know what I'm saying? To where now we have to create a conversation and talk about them. But that's my reaction. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. It's me and boy Alphamediaroom, back with another great one. There's a lot more I want to say, but it's going to come out negatively, and because this is my raw reaction, I have to keep things all positive, as positively as I can. And the critiques, I know, is going to hurt their feelings, and I know they're going to hate me or block me or whatever the hell, because that's the energy that they are born with. But a lot of people got to understand, I'm about that, and I'm really like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Either whether it's content, whether it's real life, whether it's whatever, I can out content any of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of in real good content too, not just, you know, the minuscule stuff that's been dropping. I just feel like they're trying to make money off of negativity while saying that they're not trying to. It's a clear tactic that someone that's as professional as Joe Budden knows what he's doing. So that's why I feel like he's just so butthurt. But either way, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. It's me, boy, Alphamediaroom. Peace.